What's up, folks, and welcome to Indie Ramble. This is another game I've actually had for a little while and didn't get an opportunity to cover sooner, and I really wish it did because it looks like this has flown under a lot of people's radar, and I really don't think it should have. So, yes, it's a combination of two of our favorite genres around here, shmups and roguelites, indeed. So this is Operation Steel, and it comes to us from largely a single developer, and frankly, it's pretty impressive, the amount of content that we've got in this for the price being asked. There seems to be a lot of shmups lately coming out in the Godot or Godot engine, which is interesting. It's this open source toolkit that I hadn't heard of until not that long ago, but with every game these days seemingly coming out in either Unity or Unreal, it's interesting to see some pretty impressive stuff being done in this engine that just anybody can get completely for free. I think that's pretty cool. So yeah, you've got a number of different modes in here to start with. You've got a novice mode, you've got time attack, you've got boss rush. We'll show off a couple of these things. But the meat and potatoes of it is this main mode here. So you get to pick from a couple of different ships. And what's interesting about this is you pick a starting planet here. But if anybody remembers the classic arcade racing game Outrun, the way that game worked is at the end of every level, you picked one of two choices on where to go next. And because of that, you could choose to play the game over again and get different progression each time depending on the choices you made. It was actually quite innovative at the time. And this game uses a similar system. So at the end of every level, you will have a choice of two different planets you can go towards. And there actually are achievements for completing each one for the first time and ultimately actually getting through all of them and building up the star map, which is, there's a mechanic in this called the star map that the game is very cagey about. Doesn't explain what it does. I don't know if there's just an achievement for it or if it gives you something else, maybe a hidden boss or a hidden ending or something. I haven't fully filled it out yet, but I've gotten a decent amount of the way there, but I guess we'll have to see about that. But yeah, so each of the stages is completely different, both visually and in terms of the types of enemies and gameplay that you'll face. Runs can be seeded, so if you can remember the seed, you can start from a particular one if you want. I haven't been doing that because I think the real point of games like this is to take into account the randomly generated elements. But every level has a progression of normal enemies and then a mid boss, sometimes more than one, and depending on the level, and then the end boss. So that's kind of the way it works. There's going to meet a number of different types of enemies and mid-bosses, all of which have very different attacks and strategies. The game starts out not too difficult. You may see here that it doesn't look like it's too tough. Yeah, don't let that fool you. This becomes straight-on bullet hell later, and it gets very, very challenging. I have managed to get myself to the end boss in novice mode, but I have not beaten him yet. I have managed to get pretty decently far in normal mode now, but it's taken me a number of hours to get to that point. I'll tell you what, for an inexpensive title made by one person, this game does not lack content. A lot of different levels, a lot of different enemies, lots of different ways you can customize your ship. You may have seen there that I picked up a different weapon during the run. Well, yeah, you can switch between the weapons that you have. You can also sell off ones that you don't want and upgrade any of them. There's also an item that you can pick up that will provide certain different kinds of added benefits on a cooldown. You can buy extra armor. You have the screen clearing bombs there, which you can buy more of if you need them. There are bonuses, of course, to the score for maintaining your multiplier for longer and also for not taking any damage in a level. Things that you'd see in a lot of typical shmup titles. And ultimately, your goal is to get to the end, obviously, and take out the final boss. But then, like I said, you can go back and play it different ways if you want. Also, you may have heard me say before that this is a roguelite. So yeah, the game is played in runs, and when you're dead, you're dead. But unlike a normal roguelike, this does have certain measure of permanent progression that you maintain. And basically what that is you will, over time, and it shows you your progress towards the next one at the end of each level, you'll unlock additional weapons that become available for purchase, additional power-ups, an additional ship, things like that. But you don't unlock the ability to start with those, you only unlock the ability for them to become available in runs, either through purchase or through pickup. And that's sort of the permanent progression that you get. And as you can see here, at the end of every level, you go into this little store thing here. You can take your credits, which you saw me picking up off the enemies there, and you can upgrade existing weapons that you have. You can repair one element of your armor, only one. You can buy speed ups, you can buy different passives. That's an option there that I picked up. And anything that you don't want, that you don't think you're going to utilize very much, you can choose to sell if you want and get yourself some extra money back to put towards other things. It's nice. You can go through it very quick. It's a good system, and that you can go through it very quick. You very quickly see what everything is, and it doesn't take a long time to go to chew through everything, which I really like, because you don't want to lose pace for too long, so you don't have to spend a really long time in the shopping screen between missions. So the way the credits work is you'll see the enemies are dropping them. You can either fly into them, or if you let go of the fire button for a little bit of time, you see it'll pull them towards you. There is a power-up you can get as well that will make it so that they magnetize towards you without letting go of the fire button. If you see that power-up, get it, is all I can tell you, because it pays dividends later, without a doubt. And you can see there by the score in the upper left corner that there is a multiplier that will go up over time. It just increases your score. The game does have full online leaderboards, which I very much appreciate, and it works really well. The integration with that works nicely, and I love to see online leaderboards in any game that has a score attack. So there we go. I just died, but you can see the Outrun style progression map that we have here. You can see the progress towards my next unlock. I only have a couple of things that I haven't unlocked yet, but I've put a few hours into this game so far already, and that I don't have everything yet is frankly pretty impressive. You have local leaderboards and online leaderboards, and the neat thing here is it does show your progression through that. No replays, which would be nice, but not explicitly required in a game like this. So if you go under extras here, you can see all the unlocks that are available. Like I said, I don't know what the star map does yet, but you can see I'm missing several pieces there. But in terms of the weapon and other ship upgrades and that, I only have a couple of things that are missing. There may be additional ships beyond the 2 that I have now. I'm not sure, to be honest with you. But they have the ships play very differently. So I'm going to show you the time attack mode here, which is kind of interesting. And so there are several weapons. A lot of the weapons in this play, you know, have gameplay styles to them that are very typical of most shmup weapons. But this ship, and also some other weapons you can get in the game, have a bit of a different thing. I call it the reverse R-Type. So if you ever played the R-Type series of shmups, the way those work is you can have sort of a rapid fire thing go like that, or you can choose to hold the fire button down, which prevents you from firing, but the longer you hold it down, the bigger a charged shot that you make. And when you let go, it does that. It shoots out a shot to whatever level you've charged it up. Some of the weapons in this, including the starter weapon for this ship, which I've actually swapped out because I'm an idiot, what they do is the opposite. The weapon will charge up by you not firing at all. So if you can hold off using the fire button for a little bit, the first time you touch it, you will fire out your charged shot. And that's a cool mechanic because it's very much risk reward. You know, do you want to try to have to dodge enemy fire for longer in order to be able to take out more enemies when you start shooting right away? Or do you want to do, you know, do you want to do something, do you want to approach it a different way? It's kind of a cool way to do it, and again, gives you multiple different ways you can play the game. This score attack, or time attack mode, I should say, is also kind of different in that it's wave-based, but the waves are continuous. There's no break in between them, and your goal is to try to get through all 50 waves before you run out of time. So you do this by just being stupid fast, and that's how you do it. And I've never gotten to the end of this yet. You do get to file your score if you don't get to the end of the 50 waves, but that's what's required to actually finish the mode. I think, or not 50 waves, sorry, 31 waves. I've gotten into the 20s, but I've never actually finished it. But it's an interesting, different mode that I think is cool. The only thing I don't like about this mode is that score you earn here doesn't contribute to your unlocks. So you have to actually play the main mode for that. Not entirely sure why, but it's a minor thing at worst. So, and this is a nice, you know, again, a nice little value add that they give you for this. So, and again, I'm just gonna rock this place. There we go. So, but yeah, I've been enjoying this. I really like the music for it. This game was not made by a Japanese developer. I believe he's in the UK, but it's clear that Japanese shmups are really what he took his inspiration from. This game has a very good J-shmup sounding soundtrack to it. You know, it's very electronic, it's very, very upbeat, very motivating and driving, which I think is perfect for this. And interestingly, when I first started playing this, I actually didn't really care for the art style in this very much. I was looking at it and going like, I don't know, this reminds me of Flash games, and you know, I really don't know if this is my jam. But it grew on me very quickly, and I actually now think this game looks very good. This is apparently all hand-drawn art. And as I said, there's a lot of it. Every stage has a different background. There's a ton of different enemies, all of which look different, all of which have these, you know, hand-created bullet patterns. Here we go, I got to 26, that's not too bad. Just overall, it's a really slick package, I think. And I've actually come to really like the look of this. And of course, I mean, it's 2D, so it runs like absolute glass. You know, I've had no complaints there at all. So here, I'll show you what the charge thing looks like. So you start with it charged up, and you can hear it, right? Very R-type as well. You hear it charge up, so you can wait for it. So again, it's a little different. Some people are going to prefer this playstyle. Other people are going to prefer the sort of traditional playstyle that you get with the other ship and its weapons, which is, hey, that's perfectly fine, you know. But I like the fact that this gives you options. You know, that this isn't like a lot of shmups where you're playing one ship in one configuration, and that's the whole lot. There's a lot of flexibility here, and a lot of just ways to play the game the way you want, and also to play it over multiple times, which gives you a lot of extra choice. You know, it's not easy. Most good shmups are not easy, and neither are most good roguelites, but it's not brutal. We're not talking Ikaruga here, or some of the really crazy bullet hells that have come out there before. This isn't that tough, but it's going to require practice, and it's going to require skill to get through it. And yeah, overall, I've just really been enjoying it. And at time of recording, at least, this only has a small handful of Steam reviews. It's only out on PC right now, and I really hope I can drive some more eyeballs to this, to people who are enthusiasts for this genre, because I think this game really deserves more attention than it's gotten. And yeah, it's really, really cool. I hope the dev could maybe get an opportunity to put this out on consoles. I don't know if the Godot engine works with any of the consoles that are out there right now. I have no idea. I hope it does, because I would love to see this on other systems. I think this can maybe find a bit more, you know, another audience over there. It's just really good. You know, this is not the first roguelike shmup I've played, but there aren't too many of them, and they're two genres. They are kind of two great tastes that go great together, but at the same time, it's not the easiest thing to fuse together either. And for a dev who, I believe this is his first commercial release, he's really done an incredible job. You know, I've paid more than this costs to get a lot less content than this offers, and also the gameplay in this is just really polished and solid to boot. Just a really good overall experience, and one that I think people should definitely pay attention to. It is single player only, of course. Roguelike shmups tend to be like that. Not really a big deal for me, because that's, you know, for games like this, single player is definitely the way to go. Two player would kind of unbalance things unless it had a separate mode completely built around that. But this impressed me a lot. You know, the dev just kind of randomly reached out to me one day and said, hey, I made this game. Do you want to check it out? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. And this hadn't come across my radar until he did. And I'm really glad he reached out to me, because I think I probably would not have come across this otherwise. It's just so hard to stay on top of everything. And yeah, this has been a bit of a gem for sure. So I highly recommend checking it out if you're a fan of either genre, and in particular, if you're a fan of both, definitely give it a look. There is a demo available, so you can, you know, don't take my word for it. Give it a try for your own self. But it is, I've put several hours into it so far. I do intend to finish it, and I do intend to play more of it, and I hope it does well enough that this dev can make another game, because there's clearly some talent on display here. So yeah, that is Operation Steel. It is out now. I'm enjoying it quite a bit. Definitely give it a look if you're into these kinds of things, and hopefully we see it in more places soon. So thank you very much for watching, everyone. I do appreciate it. If you like what you saw here, please do all the usual YouTube things, like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. All of it really helps out. And leave a comment down below. Tell me what you think about this. You know, what are other roguelike shmups that you like, or just entries from either genre? I'd like to know. And, you know, have I convinced you to give this a look? Because I really think more people should. And as always, you can follow me over at twitch.tv/pxabstraction for multiple variety streams a week, including coverage of indie games that we don't cover over here on YouTube. I have a fantastic community there, and I'd love to see you be a part of it. Thanks again, everybody, for watching, and I will see you on the next Indie Ramble. You folks have yourselves a good one. Take her easy.